Hello, I'm Jason with Gold Stock Bull, and today's video is going to look at why you should be investing in gold and some of the safest and most profitable ways to invest in gold and silver. As many of you may know, gold has more than tripled over the last 5 or 6 years. Starting in 2001 at prices around $300 an ounce, and climbed all the way north of $1,000 an ounce before settling at around $850 today. To a large extent, this increase in the price of gold has to do with the decline in the dollar. They have an inverse relationship. The media has had plenty of stories on the decline of the dollar. We just continue to print and to borrow money as our economy declines. And this sets ourselves up for a hyperinflationary scenario. This is nothing new throughout history. There have been governments and societies around the world who have tried to just print money out of thin air, to the detriment of their economy and inevitably to the value of their own currency. We've seen this in Zimbabwe recently, and before that in Argentina. A lot of people think, God, this isn't going to happen in the US. It can't happen to the dollar. But it's inevitable, and it's coming at some point sooner or later. We've seen some signs of this already with gas prices tripling and quadrupling before falling back to more recent levels, and we've also seen it in food prices. If you go to the grocery store, try to pick up any of your staples, your tab at the end of the grocery trip is probably double what you're used to. A lot of the blame can be left at the heels of the Federal Reserve, whose loose monetary policies have led to this inflation and led to the increase in pricing. They're basically creating interest rates that are artificially low, encouraging consumers to go out and buy houses that they can't afford, which led to the subprime crisis that we're experiencing right now, by offering 0% down, something that's never been done in the history of our country. We also see a lot of war profiteering and a lot of agitating for more war and more debt from these companies that are strictly looking out for their own profits. And more recently, we've seen about $4 trillion added to the national debt, with at least $1 trillion coming in the last 6 months from bailouts of Bear Stearns, AIG, and most recently the auto industry. This isn't something you can blame on the Republicans or the Democrats. It's truly a bipartisan effort to spend as much money as they can. And what that's resulted in is a national debt that now tops $10 trillion, or $35,000 for every U.S. citizen. The effects of this have been seen with higher prices, but more recently, in IRAs and 401ks of the average citizen have been knocked down by 40 or 50% in the last year. Furthermore, what's happening is they're being strapped with debt. Our generation and even more sadly, future generations are going to have a huge debt to repay as Helicopter Ben continues to dump cash on the market. This will, mark my words, inevitably lead to the destruction of the currency. Your dollars are going to be worth less and less, and it becomes more and more dangerous to hold on to US dollars. Fortunately, there is a way to protect yourself from the hyperinflation that's about to unfold, and that's by owning precious metals such as gold. This chart shows the inverse relationship with gold and the dollar. Gold goes up as the dollar goes down. Now here's a number of gold ETFs and ways that you can get exposure to gold. We like CEF and GTU the best. These funds hold your gold in vaults that are allocated, segregated, and they have regular audits at least twice a year where they come in and check on the gold. They also don't lease the gold out like some other institutions such as GLD and SLV, other popular ETFs. It's also held in beautiful Canada, outside of US jurisdiction, and away from the hands of people like this guy who recently orchestrated the largest Ponzi scheme in the history of the country, or of the world, I'd imagine. GTU, let's take a look at its chart. It's kind of consolidated over the last, really since 2008, but now looks like a prime buying opportunity as in the last few weeks it's really peaking up. You can just move some of your funds into this account, or if you want some more specific advice, consider subscribing to Gold Stock Bull and to the newsletter that I offer. We go into detailed trading strategies, investment strategies for how to hedge against inflation and protect from the decline of the dollar and the decline of the stock market. You'll get a view of my portfolio and get real-time updates as it changes. Nothing schemy here, no huge promises that can't be fulfilled. I'm simply passionate about the markets and want to protect as many people as I can from the coming collapse of the dollar and of the stock market. Things are going to get much worse before they get any better. And again, if you're interested, check out goldstockbull.com. There you can get free articles or you can sign up for the subscription newsletter. Thank you. Peace and prosperity to all.